So the Buk system, guys. The Buk system was leaked during this week, and I'm pretty sure it is going to be added, and it will probably be the best AA system that we have in the game. So let's talk a little bit about it and see how, would perform before we actually see it in the game. So the first thing that you need to understand is that this is a very, very big multi-vehicle battalion system, okay? It's supposed to be using multiple vehicles. I mean, they would have, for example, one Pollyanna control system controlling 4 divisions, that each of these divisions would have, on the very least, one search radar each, and then, or something similar to that, and then 2 launchers each of these divisions. So it's, on the very least, like a 20-plus vehicle system, okay? But, of course, in the game, we will have it as probably a 3-vehicle system. And also, think about that I'm bringing US military sources over here, so if anything is wrong, just for you to know, it's coming from the US military, okay? So it doesn't matter how it is in real life, how will it be in the game? So what I think they will add is a 3-vehicle system. So a search radar vehicle and 2 launchers. That's how it is in the Iris-T, and this is how it is probably going to be in this system. So the Buk M3 system has one search radar vehicle that is pretty interesting, which is the 9S18M13, which is the Kupol, right? Or Snowdrift, right? In NATO naming sake, okay? So this is a normal chassis that they use there, and it will have a very, very, very big phased array radar on top of it. 150 kilometers of range, more or less, and it can have a TWS mode that will track 120 targets or something like that. So it's kind of insane, the search radar. Very good. And yeah, it is going to be, doing rotations at up to 1 per 4 seconds. So it's pretty fast, pretty good. PESA probably, I would assume. It's a phased array, but I would assume that it's a PESA. And just an amazing system. This is probably going to be the vehicle that you use. So 150 kilometers search radar that you can use to identify where you want to fire the missiles, everything with that, okay? And what I think is going to be the main vehicle, the launcher vehicles, will be the TELAR system, the transporter, erector, launcher, and radar. So this system would be the one that has in the actual launcher the illumination radar. So in real life, there can be multiple variants of these. For example, you can have the 9A36M telescoping mast illumination radar, and then multiple TEL system, which is the only launcher version of this launcher that can carry 12 missiles. But to be honest, in the game, I'm pretty sure we're going to have the TELAR. The TELAR is basically an integration of a launcher together with the illumination radar. It would make the most sense out of all these systems and all these radars to have the illumination radar on the launcher and then 6 missiles on top of it. That's the most sense that I can draw from this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they can add one of each, one TELAR and one TEL, having one illumination radar, one search radar, and then a launcher that only has 12 missiles. But I really doubt it. I think the TELAR will be the system. So, what is the TELAR? So the TELAR, again, will use the same chassis as the normal Buks use, of course, and it will have a 2-array radar there. One of them would be the tracking and fire control system, and one of them will be kind of a secondary, smaller backup array radar, okay? These radars would, of course, be PESA as well, able to detect targets at up to 120 kilometers with an RCS of 2 meters squared, and it would also have an IRST. So this would be the normal illumination radar that we would have in the launcher. So again, the main chassis with the search radar, and then 2 launchers, each with these launchers with 6 missiles and a illumination radar each, okay? So what about the missile? So 6 missiles, like I said, if the TELAR is added. With these, we can have 2 options, in my opinion. One of them would be the 9M317M missile or the 9M317MA. These are both the same missile. The main difference is that one of them is semi-active, one of them is active. That's the main difference, okay? Because of it, the active one has a little bit of a difference in the minimum effective range that we're going to talk about, but generally they are basically the same missile. So maximum range of 70 kilometers, effective range, of course, 24 Gs, and a minimum range of 2.5 kilometers. So this is for the semi-active and 2 kilometers for the active version. And this is the idea, guys. This is a 581 kilogram missile that it's supposed to go very far. 70 kilometers maximum effective range, 24 Gs. You can already see that the missile doesn't turn very well compared to an IRIS-T, for example, but it goes very, very far. It will probably be the best missile for longer range environments in the game, okay? So, my opinion, probably will be added with the active one, because remember, guys, these missiles are made for longer ranges. The active one has a better effectiveness on that, because, of course, semi-active would be very much useless almost, because the targets will know that you are firing against them and they will go defensive. If they fly lower than you can see them, you would lose the missile. So to be a little bit more effective, I think for in-game purposes, we will have the active one. Let's wait and see. And of course, also a plus on the active one is that it has a 2 kilometer minimum effective range, which helps this missile be a little bit more effective in the lower ranges. Because remember, this is going to be one of the worst missiles to use in the, lower range engagements. It will probably be amazing in the longer ranges. Fly low, fly high, doesn't matter. It will be amazing at that. But for shorter ranges, it will be pretty useless almost, right? So this is what you should expect from the Buk, okay? A system that will have a massive radar and some very long-range missiles with its own launcher having its own radar. 70 kilometers, 24 Gs. These are the numbers that you have to think about. I mean, still one other number that you can think about is that it has a maximum speed of 1,550 meters per second, and it can even target targets that are at 3,000 kilometers per hour, which means cruise missiles, Mavericks, anything like that. It can actually it would be able to target them as well, right? So the Buk M3 is very effective. I don't know how it's gonna be in the game, because I have a feeling that having these problems with lower ranges would mean that this missile can be a little bit problematic. And by the way, I got it wrong. It's 3,000 meters per second that the missile can engage. So it can engage like hypersonic stuff, so ballistic missiles and stuff like that sometimes as well. So at the end of the day, guys, this is going to be amazing. Literally the best long-range AA system that we have in the game. But at the same time, it will be very bad at short ranges. It will beat the Panzer, it will beat the IRIS-T and everything at the longer ranges. Above 10, 20 kilometers, nothing will beat this thing unless a counter is added. But at shorter ranges, I mean, if you had a Tunguska together, because obviously in real life it would probably have something like that, it would engage with guns, right? But these low ranges, they can be problematic for this system, okay? So have that in mind. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Buk M3. I think it's going to be very cool, a very different system, and a long-awaited one as well, right? So yeah, I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye guys, see ya.